Before we get this video started, remember to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. Let us know if you love us or if you hate us. We try to reply to everybody, but if we miss you, just know that means we hate your guts. Enjoy the show.
Hey guys, what is up? It's BigNFluffy from Porch Battalion Gaming, back with the game Tiny Bunny. So, last time we met the fox lady, and now we're at the school for our first day. Whose nest is this, I wonder? I do wonder. A thieving magpie? Then it probably has all sorts of shiny things in it. Pieces of colorful glass, bottle caps, polished coins, or child braces. A tall man was standing near the gate, puffing out clouds of smoke into the wind. He didn't look like a teacher. Was he a PE guy, maybe? I carefully studied his face that looked like it was cut from a piece of granite, and his hair lip that was holding down a cigarette. He was playing around with car keys and staring back at us. The light from the cigarette was reflected in his eyes that were sitting deep in his eye sockets. I froze in place. The hulking man lazily tore off his eyes from us and walked toward the road. Radadan. What else is there? There was a fresh-looking Volga parked nearby, with one of its front wheels perched up on the icy curb. Black like sooth, as if it was straight out of the horror story Dad loved to tell me when we hid in the attic during a thunderstorm. I remember him always wearing a sad smile while mentioning the black car that snatched children. Oh. He would say, "It looks like a funeral car on the inside, white curtains and all. And it has DSC in its license plate. Do you know what that means? Death to Soviet children." Funny, I was born in the USSR too. Buzzing crowd of upperclassmen with their winter hats tipped to the side. I'd better not draw their attention. Muffled voices were coming from the other side of the door. The lamps were blinking. Darkness was creeping by the windows, and it felt like the school was drifting in space like a lonely spaceship. After going up to the second floor, I stumbled upon a crowd near the notice board. Everyone was taking part in a lively discussion. I moved closer and examined the object of everyone's interest through the wall of backs and school bags. There was a piece of paper with something printed on it, glued to the left of the class schedule. It's for Vova. 10 years old, grade 4. He left his home on January 5th, around 1600, and never returned. Was last seen at the bridge over the Smurodina River. He was wearing an orange coat with a hood, a black wool cap, a scarf, and mittens with green stripes. Might have had a plastic toy gun on him. Alright. Tension, child missing. On that grainy print, Vova looked like he was dead. A black mouth and dark, empty eye sockets. Maybe the darkness that dwells in the forest invaded his pores and mutilated his face. A plastic toy gun couldn't protect him from whispering branches and howling winds. Empty eyes of the missing boy pierced through my soul, as if pleading. Unable to meet his gaze, I turned around and rushed to the window. Took a seat on the windowsill. The corridor was slowly filling up with small groups of children. Nobody paid me any mind. Amid the darkness of school toilets, child voices were reciting a nursery rhyme. For the fox and for the bear, bunny tasty meals prepare. I turned my head toward them, trying to get a better look at their features. But then my attention was stolen by a loud clicking sound. A female teacher marched down the corridor with her chin raised up high. Her heels were hitting the floor like miniature hooves. A schoolgirl was following her closely. She also looked pompous, stopping along the way and whispering some secret in her friend's ear. She was probably a class rep since she was carrying an attendance register book. Ekaterina, take this, please. The teacher opened the door, and the crowd rushed in, shouting and pushing each other. Out of all of them, a tall, red-headed fat boy caught my attention. His face was so full of blisters, it looked like the insides of a pomegranate. Oh, God. A bad feeling made the hair on the back of my head rise. I've seen boys like him before. Unsettled eyes, cackling laughter. The girl, who was a smaller copy of the teacher, warned the boy with a wave of her hand and entered the room through the clearing in the crowd. A boy stumbled on the doorway, and the redhead immediately shoved him. Move your legs, moron. The boy flew headfirst, flailing his hands, trying to keep balance. The fatso burst out laughing, and a couple of kids joined his nasty cackling. Their laughter sounded like someone was snipping with huge garden scissors. The classroom sucked all of the kids in. The corridor stood empty. I wanted to grow roots into the windowsill. Just a handful of lampposts outside were battling the darkness, writhing like fluorescent fish in a black ocean. Maybe I can still run away. Go outside, dissolve in the dark. I imagined myself running through snow, how it would squeak under my boots, and how it would become lighter and lighter with every step. The ringer's trill blew that illusion away. I barely managed to tear myself from the window, then took a couple of deep breaths, trying to at least calm down my mad pulse, and entered the classroom. The prim teacher looked at me over the frame of her glasses, clearly annoyed. I'm the transfer student. I was told to come here. The snowy forest trail was winding in front of my eyes. The pines rustled, but it didn't sound predatory anymore. She buried herself in the register and flicked through the pages. Your last name? Petrov. Huh? What are you mumbling there? Say it clearly. Petrov. You're not on the list. She measured me with the long and heavy stare, as if trying to see if I was lying. I wanted to sink through the floor. Hazy faces observed all of that from the left. The classroom breathed and snorted in unison, like a living organism, like a dangerous beast. Are you sure? I don't have you in my register. My knees chose the worst time to start shaking, and I felt dizzy. I clutched my fist so hard my knuckles became white. They told me to come to the classroom 204 to ask for Lilia Pavlovna, class 6C. Apparently, everyone in the classroom took my words for some sort of joke because they were all laughing. What's wrong with this school? The classroom fell silent. The kids hid their smirks for a better occasion. Why do we hire so many interns? They all know how to put lipstick all over their bulging lips, but when it comes to real problems, I have to solve everything. How did they send you here without any proper paperwork? Ugh. We've had the same thing happen so many times already. Wait here, I'll be back. After I have a little chat with them. The teacher flew past me, mumbling something to herself in righteous anger, and I was left standing at the center of the classroom. Like a convict in front of a firing squad. I lowered my gaze, feeling the mocking stares from all around the classroom directed at me. They prickled my skin, danced on it like laser sights. Once again, I imagined running far away from this place, fighting the clawing wind, soaring high above the pines in one long jump, with the wind in my back as my only companion. The eyes of my future classmates were asking, this new boy, is he one of us or an outsider? Somebody whispered something and stifled laughter rolled through the classroom. Wipe the board! It was easy to guess who was the main prankster here. Hey, Four Eyes. Are you not only blind but also deaf? I said wipe the board. My knees weren't the only shaking part of my body anymore. I was trembling from head to toe, and I prayed for the teacher to come back sooner. My prayers were answered by the powers that be. And what should I do with you now? Where will you sit? Oh well, you can sit with Semyon, I guess. He's alone anyway. No way. The fatso put his backpack on the seat beside him in defiance, scratched his belly and smirked. Are you back to your old tricks? Should I call your grandma here again? The classroom went silent. And what's she gonna do? I'll be the one to do something if she doesn't. Put away your backpack now. Semyon didn't move a muscle. He started studying the portraits of writers on the wall, looking bored. I needed to do something, to resolve this somehow, to save myself. I cleared my throat and continued in a stifled voice that sounded nothing like me. I can sit in the last row. I think there's a free seat. The teacher snored loudly. She looked at me, then at Semyon, then back at me. Fine, go there for now. And you, Babrin, I'll have a talk with you later. Come to me after classes. You'll be on cleaning duty, got it? Semyon forced out a twisted smile. Juicy pimples were growing on the tip of his nose, ripe for the taking. Ugh. I walked carefully, afraid to stumble and fall, causing another outburst of laughter from everyone. I took my seat at the back, at the last table, where I was met with a pile of old posters. The outcasts took their seats and the class was ready to start. Now, this is settled. Let's start the class. Today's theme is Traditions of Russian and International Literature and Voshenko's Don't Lie. Fatso turned back to me, his stare informed me of the coming days, weeks, and months of bullying. I've got my eyes on you, said his watery look. After just a couple of periods, I had already noticed a huge yellow spit stain in my notebook. Then, at the cafeteria, this Semyon accidentally spilled a glass of compote on me. And then he flailed his hands around after exiting the toilet so some of the liquid from his hands would get on me. Just before the final period for today, Semyon pushed me into a buzzing crowd of girls from our class. They made way, cursing, but I couldn't hold my balance and ended up ramming my face into the girl I took for the class rep before, right in her chest. Ow. I immediately stepped back, dying from embarrassment. I'm sorry, are you alright?
Yeah.
Then she suddenly put her hands on her hips. Will you look at him? Groping me in front of everyone? I'll tell my mom. They'll expel you, pervert. There was some sort of sadistic pleasure in her eyes, as if she was a child who was about to put a lit-up match to the chafer beetle. I didn't mean to. He pushed me. We all saw that, you know, no blind among us. She stared at my glasses while showing me a creepy smile. I started to fume on the inside, but Semyon's laughter cooled my head. I pushed you? You sure? He swaggered up to me, enveloping me in the smell of sunflower seeds and rotting teeth, and then pushed me to the ground. Like this, huh? What you gonna do now? The bully towered over me, as if saying, come on, hit me. Let me see you try. We're gonna fight him. Listen, you. My throat went dry, my lips were moving on their own, and my voice was akin to a stifled squeal. Semyon wore a mocking smile. Oh, God. Go on, Four Eyes. Why did you stop? We're all waiting. If you ever touch me again... Semyon slowly stuck out a finger and poked my forehead. I did. So what? If you ever do it again... Here. Once more. And again. And again. And again. He was poking me with his finger so hard that my head tilted backward. I must not cry, or I'll be done for. What will a wimp like you do to me? My vision went blurry. My soles tore off from the floor. I rushed forward and threw a random punch without looking. What I saw when I opened my eyes was beautiful and horrifying at the same time. Semyon was holding his ear and blinking in amazement. Was I the first person to rebel against his absolute rule?
Stop it.
I needed to run, but I was already surrounded by his cronies. Lilia Pavlovna. Petrov just hit Babarin. Semyon's cheeks grew even redder and his pimples even wider, like the heads of larvae. But a smile flashed on his face. That was only noticed among his comrades. He got really close to me. The smell of rotten teeth washed over me. You are fucking done. His voice was evil and dangerous, like someone tore off the lid from a kettle with boiling fat. I was waiting to get hit, counting the thumps of my heart and guessing where his fist will go. The solar plexus, the jaw, the nose. But he just turned around and walked off. A thought, cold and sober and extremely rational, popped up in my head. I'm going to get killed today. I was late to leave the school after classes on purpose. Semyon didn't attend the last period, so I was hopeful. What if he decided to dodge the cleaning duty and ran home, forgetting all about me? I heaved a sigh of relief, like someone on death row whose execution was delayed by a day. But I didn't let myself forget his tone, his vengeful gaze, and his scary, electrified smirk. While the other students were leaving the school, laughing loudly, I was pretending to skim through my books near a window. I was staring outside, nervous. Semyon was nowhere to be found in the front yard or near the school gate. I didn't really believe I was this lucky, so I decided to be extra cautious and stayed for some time in the corridor that was gradually getting less crowded. All of the bustle moved to the first floor. There was a skeleton peeking out of the biology classroom. Some jokester put a cap with the American condor on its head. The sound of running water were coming from the bathroom. I was the only person left in the whole school. I'm not alone. A sudden thought came to mind. I remembered the missing boy. His portrait was on the notice board, near the schedule. I remembered his smile, his watchful eyes, and the fact that he's most likely already dead. Hello? I shuddered and turned around. At first, my eye stumbled upon the black violin case. Then I noticed a girl from my class that was holding it. She sat in the first row of the second column. I could swear I caught her looking at me a couple of times. And I was sneaking glances at her myself. Sometimes it just feels nice to look at something pretty. A running spring, a blue sky, or a girl that doesn't laugh at Semyon's jokes along with everybody else. And she wasn't exchanging vile gossip about other girls with Katya. She spent all breaks just like me, staying in the classroom, or looking out the window, or drawing something in her green notebook. Hello. I turned red and pretended I was studying the pattern on the wooden floor. It was cool the way you hit him. It was just an accident. Almost. I started shoving books into my backpack to occupy myself with something. Semyon wasn't like that before. He also transferred here just recently. His grandma told me that it almost felt like he went mad. Even the upperclassmen fear Semyon, did you know? But you're different. You're brave. I mumbled in reply. Yeah, right, what a hero. A hero that's been standing in the hallway for half an hour to avoid a beating. The girl looked at me with her clear, attentive eyes. Do you live over the river? In that wooden house? Yeah. Must be scary living there. And you also have to cross the forest? I wouldn't be able to do that. I shivered at the mention of the forest. I thought of intertwining branches, of the snake-like trail, of the endless darkness that spreads like mold among the crooked trees, and conjured up a blatant lie. It's not that scary. What's so scary about it for you? She smiled after a brief pause, as if brushing off a daydream. Well, actually, never mind. And my name is Polina, by the way. And I'm Anton. I already know that. Hey, Anton? She stumbled as if trying to decide whether she should continue. What are you doing after school? My chest felt prickly after her innocent question, yet somehow it felt pleasant. Nothing much. Oh, it's getting dark. I stopped, mid-sentence. What's happening? Oh, is this the end? No? Oh, it's the... Elisa's predatory smile flashed in front of my eyes. Her playful eyes and the slits of her mask were probably just a product of my imagination, though. What if that fox girl was waiting for me after school? Or was it another of her weird jokes? I wonder if she's hiding a big red tail under her coat. I suddenly got covered with beads of sweat, like after a PE class. I wanted to take a shower, as if just thinking of the fox girl made me dirty, lured me into the forest embrace. I have a violin lesson and then I'll be free. My grandpa hired me a private tutor. Our music teacher is a violinist, and he doesn't have anyone to teach here, except for me. She waved her free hand in the air, imitating the movement of a bow on violin strings. I could almost hear the music. It chased Elisa out of my head. I looked at Polina's lips, catching her every word, stunned from the unusual sensations. They were warm, soothing, and tingly. I felt like a gnat compared to those feelings. They surely couldn't fit inside me. They say there's a serial killer on the loose in the village. Normally, Grandpa would escort me home from school, but he's been sick lately. I snuck a glance at Vova's photo. His eye wells were studying me. His lips wore black lipstick, just like a portrait on a gravestone. I mean, I'm not a coward, it's just... I think I'll be safer together with you. Will you go home with me, Anton? There it was. Finally, everything that I read about in adventure books, everything that I dreamed of, was seeping into my life. A mysterious crime, a beautiful stranger, and a heroic duel. A duel. Thinking of Semyon instantly sobered me up, returned me back to the ground, and it started shaking under my feet like the deck of a ship. If only I could rise to the occasion in front of Polina. Because no matter how brave I was trying to act, it was obvious for both of us that I won't stand a chance against a big guy like him. And him knocking me out won't even be the worst of it. The worst part is that Polina will witness it. And she'll laugh at me like everyone else. No, I don't want anyone to see my shameful failure. I doubt I'll be able to today. You know, Semyon is waiting for me outside. I need to deal with him one-on-one like a man. Nonsense. Polina brushed some hair off her forehead, and I sensed a weak blackberry aroma. Polina was like water for a parched throat. You gulp it down greedily, yet the thirst doesn't go away. I remember the summer evenings at the country house, the fire's pungent smoke, the berries hanging over our fence from the neighbors, and a soft cover of pine needles under my soles. Those few peaceful days when I felt completely safe. My mom resting in the hammock, my dad putting meat on the skewers. Could I have foreseen the upcoming catastrophe in the crackling coils, in our laughter, in that fleeting smell of July? Could I have seen how fragile that world was? Do you really think that savage will give you a fair fight? He'll just swarm you with his friends, without giving you a chance to catch your breath. Polina suddenly flashed me a cunning smile. But if we go together, they will be put off. I'm not only the first violin of this village, I'm also a girl. I've heard from a delinquent I know that he'll never attack someone when there's a girl around. Can you imagine? They have this weird code of honor. A delinquent, you know, I thought, worried. Is he better than me? Taller? More handsome? Oh, I have to go to music class. She made a couple of steps and stopped. Amazing. Polina didn't look like those beauties from the magazine posters or the actresses from the movies. But in the flickering light of the ceiling lamp, she looked prettier than all of them. Can you play anything? My parents bought me a guitar a couple of years ago. I immediately remembered my meager attempts at making music. Change. We're all waiting for change. Soy's song echoed my thoughts and my desire to change something. That guitar got lost somewhere, as if refusing to move to the old house near the forest. I think my parents gave it away to someone that needed it more. I don't, sadly. A pity. Oh well, I'll be going. Bye. The girl's shout was picked up by a loud echo. The sound of shoes spread through the school hallways. Bye. I wasn't sure if Polina heard me. I looked out the window again. The schoolyard was empty, just a couple of grade schoolers throwing snowballs at each other. Nobody who looked like that hulking Semyon and his cronies. This gave me hope. What should I do? Polina could become my friend, the first one I'd make in this new place. And besides, she may be in real danger of meeting a killer, and I'll be her protector, her knight. And even though my inner voice was hesitant and whispered about running away from the killers, lurking in the woods at night, Polina was worth the risk. But the red cunning fox was also intriguing. She promised to help me look for Vova, and that could get me a reward. A lot of money will almost guarantee the peace in my family. Gifts for Oya. I imagine my sister, happy like those girls who get prizes from Supanev in the finest hour. She'll be dancing with the famous singers. Maybe a new popular boys band like Ivanushki International. Mom and Dad hugging each other in the Ostankino Pavilion. And then all of us going to Disneyland.